What does it take to be a professional artist? I ask myself this question frequently, and often having worries, doubts, and arguments in my head, trying to satisfy my desires as an artist. Inspiration would come and go throughout these processes. That's how artworks are morphed, for me, through thoughts and worries, silly, morbid, fear, romance, and a bunch more. My parents would ask questions like, "Are you sure that you want to be an artist?" And, "Are you sure that's going to be enough for your future?" These questions would make me think even more, filling more gaps and headspaces. Every time they ask, I'd answer, I'd think about it, over and over again. But reality can only move closer. And here I am today saying that, yes, I want to be an artist, and yes, it's going to be enough for my future. All those thoughts and worries have been circling in my skull for such a long period of time. And they eventually explode. Those explosions I transform onto canvases or any other medium. Some of the earliest vivid memories I have of me doing art was back when I was in primary school. I used to draw all over my school books back then. And due to the language barrier, I barely spoke to anyone. Other local scholars at times. Other times I'd be drawing. I rarely ever pay attention to my teachers, unless it's art class. And that's not really that much explaining because primary art is basically whatever the hell you want it to be, right? My brother was also a big role back then. He taught me a lot about art. I used to always watch him paint the alleyways to our house. It was fun because he does it super effortlessly. I wanted to be like him, but I decided to choose a different medium. I chose spray paint. I fell in love instantly. But it was a love and hate relationship because aerosol is carcinogenic. Most take the same route of muraling with this medium, as it was very easy to fill up space with this vast variety of volume. I, on the other hand, chose graffiti. I wrote on everything I could get my hands on at school, until I got caught, and school authorities announced it at an assembly one evening. I was bamboozled. I was furious. Mixed emotions of enthusiasm and embarrassment made my heart race. This is when I was in middle school. And all this emotion made me feel like I was lost. I didn't know what to do, so I just went out onto the streets and painted some known spots. Long story short, my brother found out, and we had a talk. He told me not to ask for money so much, since he knows what I was doing with it. He told me if I needed to paint, just ask him, and not to my mama or my bapak. I, on the other hand, saw the bigger picture. I noticed that our family was economically unstable, so I decided to stop, for now. And for the very first time in my life, I bought an actual sketchbook, freshman high school. I took as many art classes as I could because I want to take things seriously now. I want to make art a career, and I want to help my family. This overly strong ambition of wanting to be successful made me distance myself from being social. I'm in a steel box full of difficult decisions. Online free tutoring was what I did. I couldn't afford real tutoring because I was too scared to ask my parents. I decided to teach myself on my own. And one morning I was browsing, I stumbled upon a competition banner. It was a graffiti sketching battle. I joined, I thought there's nothing to lose, right? If I win, I get to paint at a live exhibition event. This was in sophomore year. There, I got so many new connections. There was a new other scene that I haven't discovered. They taught me how to work commissions and how to earn money as an artist. The event was Suksma Bali, a graffiti and exhibition event held in Sangingan, Ubud.
Terima kasih buat teman-teman udah datang, udah mau berkumpul malam ini ke acara Skena Bali. Ini memang acara ketiga kita. Ini adalah ruang kreatif yang sangat terbuka apabila teman-teman mempunyai kolaborasi atau ingin membuat acara yang mungkin membutuhkan ruang seperti kamu. Coming Skena Bali 2020.
From that one experience, I decided to go out more, visiting lots of local exhibitions held by local collectives. This was how I met one of the most important connections in my life. Here's the local exhibitions I went to. His name is Aris Cipta. He's a graduate of ISI, an art school in Denpasar. Aris knows a lot about the scene and has lots of connections within the scene. He told me to advertise my art more. I've heard those words before from other people. I just couldn't get myself to do it. But I started. Somewhere I was most comfortable with, which was school. Doing little drawings for friends. This was when I was in junior year. The first big income I got was from Ignite, and that was at the beginning of senior year. I made a really big painting and auctioned it there. Sold for $500. The most amount of money I've ever held in my life. I invested the money in art supplies for further commissions. Soon after, I actually started getting some serious commissions. 2 of them were children's book illustrations, which was quite difficult because it's so hard for me to use colors. Overall, it was a good experience since it pushed me out of my comfort zone. One was commissioned by Pak Chris Thompson, a parent, and another was by a friend, Tirta Maharani, in grade 11. I also got a portrait commission from Morgan, one of my best friends. It was a portrait of his grandparents. Another big challenge for me was to convince my parents during critical times where I was struggling with my commission deadlines. This was one of the lowest points for me because I could do nothing to make them trust me. All I could do was just finish all my commission in time and get all my funds in. These funds are essentially for them because I use these funds to learn. The more art forms I learn and get skilled at, the more opportunities will come in my way in the future. With all these fundings, I started to think about what kind of new and serious art form I wanted to learn next. I want to know all the different ways artists on the island make money. And this is where things get real. Aris, my mentor, is inked. He's tattooed. I asked him about it. And I said, "Do those hurt, dude?" And then he was like, "Yeah." And then I asked him again, "Can you teach me?" And then he was like, "Yeah." So I came down to the studio in Canggu and met Ode, the owner, also a friend of Aris. He was kind enough to let us watch and learn there. He explains the different types of machines and how it works: voltage, needles, inks, hygiene, and stencils. I even got to see Ari's tattoo that day, which was nerve-wracking, but it didn't stop me from wanting to learn how to tattoo. So I bought a tattoo machine and learned. Aris taught me how to set it up and how to operate it. He was there with me for 2 days, and then I took over. Just me and my tattoo machine. I practiced enough because, again, I didn't want to bother my parents because, tattoo machines are noisy. And after months of tattooing synthetic skin, I got my first appointment. My client was younger than me. It was JJ, another classmate of mine. I was scared, of course. I was waiting for that email from his parents or something. But the appointment went smoothly. He was pretty satisfied. I was satisfied. It was a good day, and I got paid. I gave it to my mom. She was happy. It wasn't much, but it was honest money. I hung out with Aris that afternoon, thinking what I should do with the rest of the funding. We were talking, and Aris was interested in the broken down motorcycle I had at home. It was my dad's. It was old and barely usable. Aris said we can fix it since he knows a friend. My green school thinking cap was on. And I said yes. I said we could recycle it and make it a good-looking bike. I never knew anything about motorcycle customizing. But I just went with it because I want to learn about the art form. I decided to use the other half of the funding for this, a brand new art form that I've never learned before. We went down to the garage in Denpasar and met Dewa, the owner of the place, known for a supplier of custom motorcycle parts. We had a discussion and he was really nice about it. He agreed to let me watch and learn in his garage. I learned how to weld, grind, cut steel, bend steel, concept bikes, and design shapes. It was much more raw for me because I've never touched any of the tools, a different type of medium. After months of long nights at the garage, grinding, welding, and oils everywhere, my motorcycle was done. I helped with a lot of the little parts, but Dewa taught me a lot about motorcycle fundamentals and about the motorcycle scene. There's Dewa. Now, what the hell am I actually doing here? I'm just a kid who wants to help his family but struggles to do so. What I learned from this process was I had this huge ambition of doing all of this on my own, to be independent. But when I dove into the scene, I've built all this confidence through them, people from the scene. Like, help me, help you, help yourself. If there are events that my friends are holding, I'd come and support, either on the spot, sponsors, or even just telling other artists to come. Same goes if I hold events. This has built my confidence as an artist, and it has helped me grow a lot more. Did I ever know anything about motorcycle customizing? No, but now I do, because I want to learn, and they want me to learn with them. They want to embrace me into their scene. It's like a second family to me now, who has such great support for the same interest. Aris told me that if people needed help and you have time to help, go help them. And if you don't, then you say no politely. They'll understand. I want to help other people that are like me to grow and pursue their passion. I was able to grow through them because I trust myself. And yeah. Was it those skills that make me feel like I succeeded? Partly, yes. But the scene holds so much more than I expected. Do what you love most, and great things will come in your way. Lastly, I want to say a big thank you to everybody that's in the scene who has helped me get through this journey. Thank you to Better Days Tattoo and Mario's Part Supplies for letting me watch and learn in their space. Thank you to all the teachers, to Harriet, George, and Pakshan, and Ibu Robin, the art teacher. Thank you for always supporting me at school. And massive thank you to Aris, my partner in crime, for always teaching and helping me with everything. Thank you all for coming and sparing your time of the day to watch and listen to me. I'll be on my way to future events.